Okay, Manny, we're going to go back to the night you won your election. You became a Chattanooga City Councilman. Okay, so you get in. I remember going down. Didn't they have some kind of ceremony that was a complete waste of my time? But you got up here on stage. Remember,
Yeah,
it was like the Tivoli or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay, so you have your thing. Do you remember the first time you met as a member of the council?
Uh,
Or
yeah,
generally,
yes,
generally.
yeah, sure.
So, what was your take on it once you finally were trying to figure out what was going on?
Well, of course, I had done a lot of civic work, been on several boards, so it wasn't anything new to get together with people and start discussing issues.
Okay. Well, so you go in, you have you're meeting your fellow councilmen and whatnot. I mean, surely you had to have some sort of like, it had to be surprising to you, like the first time you went had a city council meeting, where you guys are up there, what do you want to call it, on stage or whatever
Yeah.
the heck it is. What was your take on, like, at some point you had to be like, wow, sort of the eureka moment. I'm up here in the midst of city helping make decisions. Just talk about that.
Yeah, well, it happened when they swore us in. Me and Linda Bennett both. That was our first time. And of course we both come from different backgrounds. But I remember us talking back there, and she said, "Can you believe that we got elected to city council?" And because it was a big thing for us.
It is a big thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize how big it was and how much how many decisions that you had to make, and the influence you had on people, and the people trying to influence you. So that was different.
And so did you know Ron Littlefield before you started running?
I knew who he was. I really didn't really uh, know him personally.
So tell me how you got along with Ron. Did you got to know him, obviously?
Oh yeah,
He
I got along fine with him. Of course, we were different sides of the political spectrum, but that didn't matter because I have a lot of friends that were liberal and I'm conservative, so I have no problem with that.
So he was a city councilman before,
Right.
And so that's where his involvement with politics was, and I vaguely remember his first campaign. I do remember it, but so when you got to talk to, I always thought you guys seemed like you got along well.
Oh, we did.
Like you seemed to like him. You
Yeah.
had nothing but good things to say about him. So, what was he like? What was Ron like?
Ron, the thing about it, Ron was a planner, and he had visions of doing a lot of things, and he did a lot. I mean, he brought a lot of things to the council and a lot to the city, and we did a lot of good things because he was a planner, and especially he'd go out of town and he'd tell us, he said, I don't know, we don't know what's good or what's the best thing to do around here, so I go out of town and I see something good, and we come back and we copy it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as you're in the council coming up, when was the first time that you had an incident come up that seemed to be a little controversial? There you guys had to have meetings to where you disagreed on whether something should pass or not or whatnot. Do you remember it ever getting heated, or did you ever use the S word that you always used around me of stupid? Did you ever get angry?
No. Well, you can't because you're an elected official. And I thought there's a certain way you have to act.
I'm talking about within your meetings. You guys had the meetings behind closed doors before you went out to.
It never was behind closed doors because we had met at 3:00 and had a meeting where we went over and decided how we was going to vote on certain issues. But there was always people could come there. They just, I don't think everybody knew that that's exactly the time that we really made the decisions, because at 6:00 when the city council met, we were just rubber stamping the issues that we had voted on. So we really didn't discuss it. We just take a vote on it and let everybody see how we voted on that.
Okay, so here's a question, and don't discount it. Just answer the question, okay? When did you? What happened to start making you a media darling? Because that they wanted the soundbite for Manny.
Yeah.
What did you do that really? I think what set you apart?
Well, I would say things because I wasn't white and I wasn't black. I could say things the other two couldn't, or
Okay.
especially the white people. They
Yeah.
could the council people were really afraid to say things that might offend somebody or maybe call it racist. But I never meant to say anything mean or racist or hateful. I just, if they asked me a question, I would just tell the truth.
Yeah, well, you answered that like a politician. Give me
No,
something juicy.
no,
Give me an
no.
example.
Well, I'm saying, and I'll answer the question. You said why the media like me. I was accessible.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
and no people for some reason a lot of council people didn't like to be interviewed. I know Jack Benson. He told me one time. He said, "Man," he said, uh, "quit let them interview. You gonna say something that's wrong." I said, "Jack, I've got nothing to hide. I'm not gonna lie to them. I just tell them the truth."
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But you're right though about the. I mean, I pass for white just fine. But however, I still always feel like I'm in the middle. Or not in the middle. I'm saying I can look at both. I look at the African Americans. I look at white people, and I look at them as different groups.
Yeah.
I just do because I think the mentalities are different. You used to always teach me. You said it's not black and white, or it's not other colors. You said it's a culture difference. It's kind of like I touch on this a little bit. You and your brother would always make snide remarks about Mexicans.
Yeah.
And like one time you called Uncle Joe and he said everybody's going to a birthday party, and you said, "Well, why didn't you go?" And he said, "Well, I don't want to be around a bunch of damn Mexicans." And I remember going thinking, "What do you got? Do you guys not? How do you put down your fellow Hispanics there?"
See, we were raised I tell people I was whitewashed. I was raised in a white world. So I accepted the white culture rather than Mexicans. I never was around the Mexicans. Our family, our 8 in our family were the only Mexicans that I knew around. So the only people that I associated with or was around was white people.
Well, what do you not like about the Mexican? Well, whatever Mexicans that you and your brother seem to have a problem with, what did you not like about them?
Well, I didn't like it. Again, it's a different culture.
Right.
We didn't know the culture, so we didn't embrace it, and it get kind of crazy. When they'd party or have big fiestas or whatever. It wasn't natural to us because we always were in the white culture and did that. And let me explain again too why I looked at things a lot different. Being in the middle, not black or white people and black people would talk to me about the other. See, and they felt comfortable because people, as Mexicans, we're not a threat to them.
Yeah.
So they think the white could talk about the blacks, the blacks could talk about white, and feel comfortable about it.
Yeah.
They can't talk to each other like that because, especially the whites, there's no way they go tell people exactly how they feel or why they think they feel about that because it will be seen as racist.
Yeah, and it may make people feel uncomfortable, but the older that I've gotten more like my father, as they say, to where I don't really care what people. I'm gonna tell it like it is. But I know for me, I was just talking to a friend recently that told me that I passed for white, which is fine. But I was telling them that I was just around a group of white guys. I'll just tell you, it was in the locker room and whatnot. And I was talking about the things that get on my nerves. Now, white guys can take this however they want it. They are different, and they tend to have attitude towards certain things. And it's just true. It's just how, I'm sorry to say, it's how they are. And I can tell a huge difference myself, even though I might pass for white. That's fine. But I always thought that you were very fair. But when you were in the council, you didn't have any kind of a problem like with the local Hispanics coming in. I mean, there wasn't. Was it an issue at all? Was there any of, like you talk about now at city court and have them come in? They might not have license or insurance or whatnot. But back then, was there any kind of an issue with Hispanic culture, race? I mean, the people coming in.
No, of course. When I moved here in 1970. There weren't hardly any Mexicans.
I believe it.
Yeah. And people, I'd get around people and they'd say, "What are you?" So, are you Italian? No. Indian? No. Puerto Rican? Hawaiian. I said, hey, use the M word.
Yeah, use the M word. Just say it. Yeah.
It's not a dirty word.
Well, I guess it's more fashionable to say Hispanic, but I didn't hear that term until I got older. Did you? I didn't ever hear the Hispanic term. I didn't know.
Yeah, but I heard it, but like I
Yeah.
said, I thought that's stupid.
This is
'Cause,
categorizing.
and I'm thinking most cultures, different Hispanics,
Yeah.
are offended that they're all put in one bowl.
Yeah.
Because when you say Hispanic, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
A Puerto Rican,
That's
Cuban?
true. That's true. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
I like that. Go ahead and use the M word. That's what we'll call it, the M word. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And two, the biggest problem I had was that, the district right in, I got elected. It was supposed to be a black district.
Yeah.
We have 4
Right.
minority district. 4 of them supposed to be black. Well, my district was black, and I won.
Yeah.
And some of my black friends still said they haven't figured out how you won twice. And so, right away, and it's always been known that blacks did not like black Mexicans.
Yeah.
And I know when I first started being around Mexicans when I worked construction,
Mm-hmm.
when I first got out of school, I asked the Mexican, I said, how come they don't like us? He said, the white coast will accept the Mexicans, but they won't accept the blacks.
Mm-hmm.
If they saw a Mexican with a white girl, they didn't think nothing about it. But if they saw a black guy with a white girl, they had a problem. And we're talking about 60 years
Yeah,
ago.
60 years ago. Yeah.
So that they had a chip on their shoulder about the Mexicans being accepted in the culture, because when Texas took over Mexico, the Mexicans considered white.
Yeah.
Because they had to go to court to make sure that they were a special kind of white, not because they really had to think about it and make a good excuse for them wanting us to be separated. Because if they had lost, we'd have been put in the black category, and so we wanted our own race. So
I got you.
That's caused a lot of problems back then.